Let us discuss COVID-19 in Seychelles and the recent stories regarding this aspect. Seychelles is 3,000 kilometers from Sri Lanka and 1,600 kilometers from Tanzania. Beautiful beaches, a population of just under 100,000, and this is the population structure that is shown on the slide. It depends on tourism for around 65 to 70% of its GDP, and a lot of its population is involved in the tourist industry. This was the first African nation to begin COVID-19 vaccination. And the process progressed very rapidly. And as you could see in the bottom graph, with Israel, it was one of the countries that vaccinated the population very, very rapidly. With this, they were able to welcome vaccinated tourists, and there was unlocking of the country to tourists. And by March 25th, most travelers arrived in Seychelles without the need for quarantine with a negative PCR test. They were coming to savor the beauty of the country. However, recently there has been an uptick in cases, and this is shown clearly in the graph with the number of cases increasing in April and going into May. Why is this so? And the question is, why is a highly vaccinated country experiencing a COVID-19 spike? We must remember that the total number of cases is, as at yesterday, was 9,184 with a 7-day average of 400. Israel is the second highest, is the country with the second highest vaccine coverage in the world as at the 12th of May. The number of new cases per million is over 2,000 in Seychelles, and in Israel it's 5.5. Now let us look at this in a graph. On the x-axis is the vaccine percentage of the population who are given at least one dose of vaccine, and on the y-axis is the case rate per million. And as you can see, Israel has a high COVID-19 vaccine rollout, and the number of cases are very low. That is why it is right at the bottom against the x-axis. Whereas Seychelles and Maldives are at a different level where the number of cases are higher than what we would wish to accept from a per million basis. Now let us look at a few details about the vaccine rollout and the cases that have been described recently to put some perspective. 62.2% of the population has been vaccinated. 57% received the Sinopharm vaccine and 43% received the AstraZeneca vaccine. Of those who were tested positive, about 37% had received both vaccines, and about 63% had not received a vaccine or received one dose. And the important take-home message is that 80% of those needing hospital treatment, or all those with severe disease or critical cases, had not been vaccinated and tended to have comorbidities. That's an important message to remember, that the vaccinated group were getting mild symptoms if they got any symptoms or if they got an infection, but it was the non-vaccinated group that were getting severe symptoms, needing hospitalization and ITU care, etc. So 2/3 of the positive cases were close contacts of another test positive case, and that was how they were picking up these cases, because all the vaccinated, they were close contacts, and therefore they were getting symptoms, they were getting positive, but they were very mildly symptomatic and not getting severe disease. We still do not know which vaccines were received by those getting positive tests, and that data has to be forthcoming shortly. So the message that was given by the Foreign and Tourism Minister of Seychelles was, though infections have risen recently, thanks to the island nation's vaccination program, which had been rolled out from January, people are not getting seriously ill. And that is an important take-home message. Vaccination is doing what it is meant to do in the initial stage to prevent severe disease with hospitalization, ITU care, deaths. And as he said, the health system is not under pressure. So the important message to remember from previous videos, etc., vaccination, COVID vaccination reduces severe disease, ITU care, deaths. It reduces transmission, but does not stop it. It takes some time after vaccination to get immunity, at least 7-10 days. So preventive health measures must continue. Social distancing, hand washing, wearing masks, etc. Because preventive health measures together with widespread vaccination is how we could change this pandemic and get it retreating to a position we had before the pandemic occurred. Thanks a lot.